84 Squadron are always on standby for their next sortie. Their Griffin helicopters are a familiar sight in the skies over Cyprus, responding to all kinds of taskings in the sovereign base areas. This is the only squadron in the RAF to have been based overseas throughout its service history. Today, its Scorpion badge is a link to a well-travelled past.
We're a non-UK based squadron, and we always have been since the First World War. 84 Squadron was formed as a fighter squadron on the Western Front, and from there we started a grand world tour. We've operated out in Malaysia, a lot of time in Iraq, in between the wars. We've actually operated out of here as a transport squadron up in Nicosia, North Africa. We've been all over the place. We kind of never settled down, and so that is a unique part of our history, and it's a part that we're very proud of.
At Akrotiri, every day starts with a morning brief. It's a small team here. There are 13 aircrew, and each have different backgrounds, but they've all completed at least 2 tours. Alongside them, there are 3 ops room staff and 8 civilian engineers keeping the helis in working order. They're always on standby, so maintenance is vital. Most sorties involve supporting exercising units across the island. With the Theatre Reserve Battalion based here and dozens of visiting units every year, 84 Squadron are often called out, kept busy dropping ammo and transporting troops across the training area. But if there's an emergency, they can be sent far and wide. At sea, they're practicing their search and rescue drills. They've had 13 call-outs so far this year across the island.
So we've had, a soldier hurting his leg on manoeuvres in one of the lemurs. We've had a tombstoner and the various people that go missing. We've got capability for searching, not just rescuing. So we've been up looking for people who haven't been back from their run on time. So you're worried about heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Today's training sortie is a wets and sits sortie, so we're going to practice putting a man in the water who will be one of us, pretending to be in a different scenario, so a drowning survivor, a fast jet ejectee, someone who's unconscious in a dinghy, and a bloke on a lilo crying for help. And I'll go down and rescue him and go through the moves with the pilot and getting an overhead and getting me to him.
4 aircrew are trained as paramedics, and they're usually the ones first at the scene. Winched down from above, they have to assess the casualty and help them to safety.
It's pretty much the same as an air ambulance or a road ambulance. We've got all the kit that we need. We'll pitch up on scene, and depending on what it is, we might be able to land on. I'll jump off with the necessary kit and go and assess the casualty. But if it's quite a precarious situation where we have to winch, I would be winched down with the kit. You do make a big difference, and it's very satisfying to know that you've turned up and helped that person and got them to hospital, and actually then they make a recovery. So you've made a big difference to their life.
84 Squadron will soon become the only squadron in the RAF still carrying out search and rescue. In the UK, the service is being privatised, but that's not happening here. Here they're on standby across the whole of the island. They've even once been called as far away as Lebanon.
Out here I've done jobs off the coast of Syria, off Israel. The job off Syria was a ship sank with about 70,000 cattle and 110 people on it, and we had to go out and search for people. We recovered 2 dead bodies, and then we were fortunate to find a live person, so we recovered them into the aircraft. So we ended up landing in Lebanon and sending them to hospital there, so you just never know what's going to happen.
For the aircrew here, the fact that the squadron is retaining its search and rescue capability is a big plus. Carrying out a range of roles is one of the squadron's main appeals, offering personnel an alternative to routine operational demands. No 2 days here are the same, but they know tomorrow they'll be out again, somewhere in the skies overhead. Carla, Prater, Forces News at RAF Akrotiri.